My name is Petra Rösler and I work in the Kardinal Koenig Haus, which you can see in the background. We are an institution for adult education and we have one department for palliative care, hospice and dementia where we work. And it was 2 years ago that the first dementia-friendly districts in Vienna kind of sprang up, and our director asked me to do this for our district, which is called Hietzing. It is a very green district, so we have a lot of parks and nature, but also a population that is a bit older, about 50,000 people, and that is affluent but a bit older. And we tried to build up a network here that would make Hietzing dementia friendly. That means for us that people with dementia and their carers can stay in society, can live a self-determined life and do not have to go into isolation because they are stigmatized by their surroundings. So we started with this network, and right from the beginning we had a lot of interest. We have network meetings where 20 to 30 people come and develop new ideas and the new activities. And all in all, we are about 60 players in the network, from volunteers, from priests, and for instance trainers, self-employed trainers, for instance also garden therapists, to museums and bakeries and gyms and pharmacies, doctors, and then of course the nursing homes, the mobile services, the 24-hour care, all the typical care organizations. So we want to raise the awareness in the community for dementia, what it is, and also show that there is a good life with dementia. It's not only about end of life, it's about staying active, doing what you've always done, being with your friends, and we want to kind of shift the awareness a bit, and we do articles in the newspapers, folders, but also lectures, of course. And for the people with dementia, who are of course our primary target group and our ultimate target group, we try to find activities that they can still do even if they are cognitively impaired. So for instance, one woman asked me, her friend has always been in a choir, and if she could do that. So we found 3 choirs in the district that she could sing in, even if she's not like totally high level singer. And we also try to share the information in the professional network, because everybody has their own organization and a lot of different services, but we want to make sure that we know of each other and that we're always up to date about the different things that are available to people with dementia and their carers, and then of course spread the information. And we do consulting sessions. For instance, yesterday there was a consulting session for the different settings. Should my relative stay at home? Should he go to a daycare center? Should he go in a nursing home? What are the pros and cons? So we offer various consulting sessions that are free of charge and very low threshold to go to. I think what is really new for many players in our network is that we combine a bottom-up and a top-down approach. That we try to bring the care services and the people living with dementia and the volunteers and the bakeries and the gyms, everybody together, the schools, the priests, whoever wants to participate. So we try to ask people with dementia and their carers and their friends what they need, what they would find dementia friendly, what this could be in their practical life, daily life. And we also try to combine that with the knowledge and the services of the organization, of the care organization, of the professionals. So it's always kind of a bit of going from one side to the other, from the experts to the actual people living with this condition, and then back to the experts, develop something and go back again. And I think also it's unique to have a context and network where people from a professional background and lay people, individuals, volunteers work together on a kind of eye level. And also the very different organizations that we have. As I said, we have a bakery, we have a gym, of course we have doctors and pharmacies, but we also have sports and everyday life activities, police for instance. Communication is in fact really our main challenge and our core task, I would say, because we have so many different target groups, and somebody living at home with a dementia is of course very different from an organization like a nursing home. So we have to use very different channels, and we have to be very patient in the communication. I would say our most important medium is word of mouth. So everybody in the network needs to be a communicator for the network. We really rely on everybody talking about it and making it known, spreading the word. So for instance, a partner that does Meals on Wheels, they would then bring the folders and the information to their customers because they go to the individual households. And we also see that the network partners bring new partners to the network meetings, that they invite them, that they tell me about other people who could be interested, and I contact them. So that is really how we spread the word for the network. And for the different, for the presentations that we have and the workshops and the excursions, we have the website, we use social media, and we do flyers. And we try to put the flyers in every spot that we can, but that is still very hard for us. There's no easy solution, especially in an urban setting where there is so much going on. So in Hietzing here, you have about 3 or 4 concerts every night, and so many different classes and trainings. So we really have a lot of competition on the event side. So it's not so easy, and you have to be patient and use everything you can grasp. Our main message is, above all, there can be a good life with dementia, which is for most people still very, I would say, mind-bending, because they see dementia as something at the end of life and as, sufferers. So we do not speak about sufferers, but we say there can be a good life with dementia, and our main message is also we want these people in our middle. We want them to be part of society. We do not want to push them into isolation or specialized dementia, dancing groups or something like that. The main cost is, as always, the work time, the human resources. So for the partners to come to the network meetings, for the partners to send experts to various activities, and of course my coordination work, which takes about 5 to 7 hours a week. And then there are the expenses for rooms and infrastructure like that, and also the website and the printing of materials. The way we finance it is that the partners, of course, give us their time as a kind of pro bono donation for the network. And the expenses we cover also from the organization. So the rooms or the printing is done by the various companies that are in the network. And my coordination work is not really covered. So Kardinal Koenig Haus actually gives that to the network. And we do not at the moment have a project funding, and I'm not so sure that we would want it, because usually the project finance is only for 3 years, and I want to have a longer time frame and not to know that it will be all over after 3 years. And then for the things like the flyers and the website, we do sponsoring, so you could have your logo on the folder, or we ask other companies like the bakery and so on for very small donations. And so that is really kind of small things, but we don't have such big expenses. I think one of the most important learnings is to have patience, to also communicate to your boss that it takes some time to build up the network. And also the politicians, for instance, if they support it, they think that everything will be there in a short time. But you have so many different partners with such different interests and such different levels of knowledge, so you have to bring everybody together and kind of find common ground and build trust and always make sure that everybody is active and can contribute something and also take something away. It's very important that the partners in the network see something that they can take away for their daily life, for their other job, so that they don't only give and give and give in a very busy schedule. They have to find very tangible benefits from being in the network. And that for the coordination is of course very challenging, because for some it is publicity, for the others it's getting access to a politician, for the others it's cohesion, being in a network, being in a group, for the others it's just doing something good. So you have to always be aware of the needs of all these very different players in the network, and there are 60 of them, so it can be quite challenging. So yes, it needs a motor, it really needs coordination. It can never be something that works on its own. And you always have to bring in new ideas and new impulses, and also be very low-key about it, because it doesn't work if it is an activity of one organization that kind of instrumentalizes the others. You have to make sure that you give this input, but it needs to be very subtle, so that the others feel it is really their network, it's our common network, and somebody is just taking care of the logistics, kind of. But in reality, you also have to put new ideas into the network, and also sometimes make a plan of what we want to do now and later. So I do have a small steering group also, who helps me do that. And for me, the most important learning was that it is always political, and that you have to learn to play the political game a little bit, or find somebody in the network who can. So I have somebody who is very good about these avenues and these possibilities. And now after 2 years, we start to also ask for things from politics, because we do not want to only fill the gaps, but we also want to show the gaps to the politicians and say, hey, there's something that we need. There's a lot there, but we need more. And in our case, it's really easier access to the information, because the relatives, the carers, tell us that they just cannot access all the offers that there are, because it's too complicated. So they need this kind of one-stop information point where somebody can really give them individual information and advice. So that at the moment is our political game that we are doing.